let me flip on the Asmon video. Videos. Hold up. First impressions of Shadowlands. First impressions of Shadowlands. It's a 25-minute video. So let's take a look. Let's see what he thinks. Let's see.
What's up, boys? So today I wanted to talk to you all about Shadowlands.
Okay.
The expansion's been out for a few weeks now. The raid just came out this week. And I wanted to give you all my first impressions of the expansion and just in general.
What are my impressions? Real quick, my impressions of Shadowlands, I would say, like, the first 2 weeks at least that we've been able to play, I would give Shadowlands probably a 7.5 out of 10. Like, I think they improved on a fuck ton. That way was a dead end. Yeah, they improved on a fuck ton over BFA. Like, the big make or break for expansions is how do you progress your character? How do you get gear? What makes your character stronger? And the whole idea of like Azerite power and artifact power or corruption levels, it's just terrible. Like they were just terrible fucking systems. And just simply by removing that, that's a huge improvement. But not only did they remove that, they also got rid of Titan Forging, which is really, really good. They decreased the amount of gear you're getting, period, which is really, really good. Gear feels more scarce, which makes it more valuable. And then they also added more like avenues to get gear. So if you don't like doing Mythic Plus, you can do PvP. If you don't like doing PvP or BGs, you can do Arena or vice versa. Or you can just go raid. Like, I would say you probably have like 4 solid avenues to have control over the gear that your character's getting, which is really, really good. Like, it's really good. Remember in Legion when you would, like, in order to get PvP gear, you had to do Arena or you had to do BGs, and you would just get a random piece of random gear randomly if you won or lost? Like, whose fucking idea was that? That was so fucking brain dead, dude. So, like, just having vendors you can buy gear from and then resources you can farm to upgrade said gear, it's good. Like, that's just fucking good. It's just good.
This week.
It's
and
way better.
I wanted to give you all my first impressions of the expansion and just in general my experiences with it. Now, before I get into that, I do want to say one thing, is that you guys probably haven't seen a whole lot of videos from this channel recently. It's not really because I'm lazy, well, that's one reason, but on top of that, it's also because the camera and the mic on my old phone broke, and I wasn't able to record without the audio being distorted. I tried to fix it a number of different ways, took it to the store, and they told me I basically needed to get a new phone, or there'd be no way for it to really work, and
which way do I need to fucking go, man? I'm lost.
So because of that, I bought a new phone, and so hopefully now the quality is a little bit better, and we'll be able to record videos and put out a little bit more content in the near future here. So I just wanted to make that kind of clear because I know some people have been wondering why I haven't put out any videos recently, and that is why. So anyway, Shadowlands, the expansion. The release for Shadowlands, I think, went relatively very well. There were, of course, a few servers, I think, on the EU that had a huge amount of problems.
I think any full server had a lot of issues, but high pop servers were fine. So if you played on like Illidan or whatever the fuck full, like it'll say on the server list. If it was full, I think you probably had some fucking problems. But for me on KT, it was fine.
On launch, and I think this has been the case for pretty much every launch.
All good.
Whereas there's a few of the more highly populated servers.
Yeah.
And it seems like this happens more or less on EU more often, but, you know, for my server, Kel'Thuzad, there wasn't really anything like that. My launch experience was really smooth. I didn't really have any DCs. I think the leveling experience was decent enough. And I think that Blizzard, at this point, they kind of just make the leveling experience really cosmetic. It's more or less just an introduction to the lore of the game, and you basically play through all the different covenants, and you learn what they're about, and then later on you make a decision on which one you want to go with.
Yeah, that's true. And I actually hate Shadowlands leveling. People keep saying, Staysafe, what's your favorite zone? Staysafe, how was leveling? The zones? I don't have a favorite zone because I equally hate all of them. Like, I hate all of the leveling zones. I thought the leveling was terrible. It was super unfun. It was way too dialogue driven. It felt like just as you got leveling, like you'd have to stop and listen to fucking Lady Moonberry go on a 5-minute tangent about the fucking forest pixies and the deer people. It was just too much. Like, the quests are too long, and there's nothing wrong with a long grind. I actually prefer long grindy quests. Like, having a grindy quest is fine, but the quests are so like partitioned in different segments. It's like, okay, first you need to go pick up 4 of these things, then you need to go and kill this guy for a key, and then you have to go open the chest, and the chest gives you a map to go do this, and it's like, that's all in one quest. That's all one quest. Like, I'm not a fan of multi-step quests, I guess. and that's most quests in Shadowlands, it seems, and that's also pretty much every world quest. Honestly, I don't even do world quests. I hate them. I fucking hate them. In Shadowlands, world quests are fucking terrible. They're so annoying. They're way too long, man.
And I think that the leveling experience in that way does make a lot of sense, and it just works. Now, whenever you talk about like the Threads of Fate thing, which is wherever you can level alts, I did hear that was very grindy and not really as fun and enjoyable, and also sometimes it would take longer for some people. I'm not sure how optimization is going to change that, but in general, I'd say the leveling for the expansion is pretty good. And I think that's probably one way that I could describe most of the things in Shadowlands is pretty good.
I must not like questing in general. No, because in Vanilla, Wrath, and TBC, I love questing and I love leveling. Like, leveling is probably my favorite thing to do in World of Warcraft, period. Of all time. Like, more than raiding, more than PvP. I like questing. It's my... Off-stream, all the time, I just log in a character and run around and kill shit and do quests. But the quest design has changed so much with NPC dialogue pop-up boxes and cutscenes and multi-step quests, and it's so like conveyor belty where you don't have much decision making in the order in which you do your quests. Like, you have to do these quests in a certain order. I just don't like it. And also, I really dislike. This is something they could super easily fix. Elite, like, this is a very, I guess, like, specific critique, but I think it has a really big impact actually. When you see a rare mob or an elite mob or a quest mob, like a named quest mob, they arbitrarily have so much HP that it's not fun. It's not difficult to kill them. You don't feel like your life is in danger. They just have so much HP. It's like, oh wow, it's a rare mob. Oh wait, rare mobs have 10 times more HP than normal, and it's just gonna, like, it's not gonna be scary or dangerous. It just means it's gonna take me 5 minutes to kill the fucking monster. So any sort of like excitement you have from killing named mobs or rare mobs or elite mobs is immediately sapped by the fact that you know that in order to kill it, it's gonna take you 5 minutes. Which is, I think, really bad for the game also. I don't know, it just completely, like, it kills any momentum you have. It just feels way too fucking arbitrarily grindy. It's just stupid as fuck in my opinion. That's what I would do. Or that's what I'd say about that.
I feel like this expansion's been a pleasant surprise for a lot of people. I know that, especially out of BFA, the game seemed... Rich used this word the other day, and I really...
Things need to feel dangerous? Well, yeah, I agree. Like, what I would do is I would just cut all those mobs' HP in half and make their abilities do 2 times more damage. Like make it so a rare mob can one-shot you if you stand in the AoE it puts on the ground. Because right now, like, I've tested this on, I've done this on stream, where I will just sit there and stand in the AoE of a rare mob I find, and it just doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything at all. It's like, there's no point in moving at all, period. But, oh, hello. But, it just takes fucking forever to kill them. It's just not fun. It's just boring as fuck. I just sit there and don't move and spam my rotation, and then 3 minutes later the mob's dead, right?
Can't stop thinking about it. The expansion BFA seemed very desperate. They just tried to keep you plugging on, keep you playing the game by just creating these really weird contrived systems to keep you doing it. And it's incredible to see the difference and the juxtaposition between that philosophy and the philosophy of Shadowlands. I think really what comes out of that is the confidence of Shadowlands that Blizzard really had with releasing it. If you look at the way that they've released the content for Shadowlands and they've incentivized it, many of the things in the game aren't really necessary to do, but people still want to do them because they're fun. And I feel like that's such a... it's a weird situation to be in, where that's such a...
Well, that's true, and then also, it's really nice because if there's things in the game that you don't find fun, for example, I'm not really a big fan of the Maw, and I'm not really a fan of world quests. Like, I just find myself not really doing them. Let me look at chat real quick. By the expansion, we one-shotting this content, so it doesn't matter much. Let me see. There was one comment specifically I was going to read. I think it's just because you're a tank and never takes me that long unless it's a group. Yeah, I guess that could be... Well, no, when I was playing a Warlock too, I was loving my Warlock, and it still just felt too fucking long. I don't know, man. Hey, man, I see your title. You have any news for TBC? There is a very big TBC video we're going to watch. It's a 1 hour long video uploaded by Mad Season Show. Super, super good, high quality video. We're going to watch it probably in about 90 minutes. We're going to have it, and it's 1 hour long. So with the amount of times I pause videos, it's going to take us probably 2 hours to get through the video. But right now, let's keep talking about Shadowlands. Now, I will say, even though I'm really seriously shitting on the leveling process of Shadowlands, I really fucking dislike it. Even Threads of Fate. Like, here's the thing. Threads of Fate, I would say this about Threads of Fate. The reward to time investment ratio of Threads of Fate is not good. So Threads of Fate is slower than normal like campaign leveling. That's what the consensus seems to be. And like you'll go out and do Threads of Fate, and you'll spend 20 minutes doing like a bonus objective quest, or like what's it called? Like, yeah, a bonus objective, or like 10 or 15 minutes doing a bonus objective, and you'll get fuck all for it. Like the XP is just fucking whack. It's bunk, dude. They have to either nerf the amount of shit you have to do for bonus objectives, and probably add more bonus objectives also, or just like bump up the XP, because the ratios right now, like, it's just not fucking working out. It does not feel fun or rewarding.
A novel concept, but here we are. You have all of these different, like the Ember Court, like build your own abomination, like all of these little covenant features.
Now, hold it, before I move on from that, I know I just spent 20 minutes shitting on the leveling of BFA, or sorry, of Shadowlands, but once you're 60, okay, the leveling sucks dick. Once you're 60, everything's very fun. That's what I'm giving a 7.5. Like, I would give Shadowlands level 60 content a 7.5. Really. So far, everything's pretty fucking fun. So the leveling's terrible, but I think 60 content is actually pretty enjoyable.
All of these different, like the Ember Court, like build your own abomination, like all of these little covenant features, and just little extra things that you can do with your character that people really want to do because they enjoy playing the game. And I feel like that's just such a complete different paradigm shift versus what we had in BFA and also in Legion too. I think in Legion the expansion was a good expansion, but overall it did have some of those, I guess you could say, mandatory fun mechanisms.
Oh boy.
And Shadowlands, I think, doesn't really have that much mandatory fun. It just has fun. And you can engage in it if you want to, and if you don't have to. And I feel like the options and the availability...
Well, yeah, so I think this is the point I was going to make before I got distracted. There's things that I think are not fun also, like, for example, the Maw and World Quests, and you don't even really have to do those either. Like, yeah, if you do them and min-max them, you'll get, like, you'll advance more quickly, but if you don't, like, it's really not that big of a deal, right? So, in Shadowlands, I've just decided, like, you know, shit that's, like, super boring and unfun for me, I'm just kind of not going to do that, really. And I'll slowly progress through it, with, like, weekly quests, or, like, sometimes you just get the shit here and there. That's how I'm going to do it, but am I doing every world quest every day? Like in BFA, when BFA came out, I did every world quest every single day for like a month and a half. Because I wanted to min-max, and holy fuck, that was unfun. Now, I will say this, BFA world quests were actually better than Shadowlands world quests. I remember Ian said that with Shadowlands, they're having fewer world quests, but the world quests are longer. And what longer means is tedious and more annoying. That's my opinion. So I would actually rather have shorter world quests that are simpler, but more of them. If I had to choose, I'd rather have BFA world quests than Shadowlands world quests. They're just too fucking too much for me, man. Fuck that shit.
You don't have to.
Oops, my bad.
And I feel like the options and the availability of those options really, I think, is what's made this expansion such a refreshing experience for a lot of people. Whenever you look at a lot of PvPers especially, I think that you've seen so much more of a revitalization of PvPers' enthusiasm for the game versus Raiders. I mean, Raiders, you know, Castle Nathria, we'll talk about that. Castle Nathria is a good raid, right? I mean, I thought normal was overtuned, but overall, like, heroic mode was fucking awesome. Like, I love doing heroic mode Castle Nathria, and it was an enjoyable experience. And this is coming from somebody who really just raids for gear. And so even that was, it was a little bit fulfilling even for me. So I think that you see the way that PvPers especially, because these are people who very often play on multiple characters, they'll play on multiple alts, etc. as a PvPer. And this was something that was very doable back in Burning Crusade to a lesser extent because of the leveling requirements, but in Cataclysm and Mists of Pandaria, in Warlords of Draenor, and even to a certain extent in Legion, but mainly in those earlier expansions, Wrath 2, you'd see a lot of people that would make multiple characters throughout the expansion, and they would play those characters in PvP and just keep up with them and enjoy playing those characters and doing different things. And I think that whenever you compare that to, you know, like in Cataclysm or in Mists of Pandaria, where you can maintain, you know, 5 through at least, you know, 3, 4, 5 characters, that same amount of time investment went into just maintaining one character in BFA. And you didn't feel 3 to 5 times better about having that one main character. Yes, of course, the max level corruptions and having all of the different stat amps were cool, but at the end of the day, sometimes people want to do different things. And I feel like Blizzard kind of treating the alt experience like a extension of the player experience is a good idea, and I think that Blizzard making more things, not creating gate.
I probably have a really unpopular opinion on this, actually. This is probably a very unpopular opinion. I actually like when the game caters to mains, and you sort of have to pick a main character and have that be your main, and like that's kind of what you play. I actually prefer that. Now, of course, the main experience has to be fun, and it can't be dog shit like in BFA, but I like having a main, and like I like, yeah, it's like to an extent, I guess. And like if I'm watching Arena, I want to see Sea-Doo play a shaman. Like I want to see Zaryu play a mage. I want to see Asmon play a warrior. I don't know. Like I like it when people have like a really strong attachment to their class, and like that's kind of just like who you are and what you are. That's and that's kind of how I've always played World of Warcraft also, I guess. But I don't know. Like I understand a lot of people like actively keeping up and playing with like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 characters, I guess. I want to play Warlock. Yeah, I also want to see Staysafe play Warlock, but Warlock is super fucking unfun in Shadowlands. Dude, I have been... Oh, dude. I've said this like 3 times today. I have been watching so many TBC arena videos and TBC rating videos on my second monitor when I was working earlier today. Dude, like from Warlock point of view, I have been watching so many Warlock TBC videos. I am so fucking excited, man. Holy shit, I'm excited. God, fuck. TBC Warlock? Oh, dude, I'm so fucking excited. Fuck, I'm excited.
Gates for things, right?
What's up, Ben Show?
Things are time gated in Shadowlands. It's definitely
we're going hard on the Warlock, dude.
The Covenant campaign was just...
I've decided I don't even think I'm gonna play Holy in TBC. It's gonna be Prot Paladin. It's gonna be Warlock, and I think my angle is gonna be it's gonna be Warlock Arena and 25-man rating, and then Prot Paladin. I'll tank Karazhan, and I'll do mass dungeon AoE pulls. Like, it's going to be insane Prot Paladin, meme, crazy, innovative, like, dungeon farming, probably on the Prot Paladin, and also tanking Karazhan. Then the Warlock is going to be 25-man rating, getting my gear out of Karazhan, and then also spamming fucking Arena, man. Holy shit, I'm excited. The closer we get to TBC, the harder I want to go in Arena. Like, at this point, man, I just spent all day watching, like, Warlock PvP videos. I want to dunk on kids in TBC Arena. I want to go fucking hard, dude. I'm ready to shit on some kids in TBC Arena, man.
It's tied to Renown, Torghast,
I'm so excited.
Cycle, and a number of things other than that have been time gated. And I know this might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't really necessarily hate that.
It was WoW Hobbs.
I think that it's important to pace players, and I feel like WoW has always had the problem of buzzwords, where whenever the community comes up with a buzzword like, I think I used this example too, borrowed power, and time gating, etc., they look at anything that falls into that category or that can be defined by that word, and they automatically correlate it to being bad. But I think that Shadowlands does do a good job of pacing players and giving people enough content that they can do without necessarily making them feel like they're overwhelmed. And this is, of course, for somebody who continuously plays. I think for a person coming into the game now, they're going to have even more things to do because they have all those backlog of things that they didn't do at the beginning of the expansion already. And I think that's going to continue to be the case. And then also on top of that, it's weird for me to see a lot of my friends, especially people who are more of the they're more of the casual player, or not necessarily casual player, but let's just say they don't give a fuck about the lore. And it's really cool to see them even wanting to look and see, well, what is this Night Fae questline? Because I feel like Night Fae is always like, it's always been like the meme, right? It's like, oh, the furries, the Night Fae, okay, whatever, right? Oh, you make a garden, it's just Animal Crossing, etc. But the fact is that the zones in Shadowlands, and Ardenweald especially, is just so incredibly good that people actually want to try out the campaign, even though it's supposedly for furries, basically. At least that's the joke. So I think Blizzard really knocked it out of the park with the art, and I think the art does seem a lot more inspired than the BFA art. I think there were a lot of things in BFA that actually did look visually really cool. I felt like...
I gotta kind of disagree. Like, actually, I think the storytelling in Shadowlands has been really bad. Like, I think whoever wrote the dialogue and like just watching the NPC, like reading NPC dialogue and listening to the NPC dialogue, if you have like your audio on, it doesn't feel Warcrafty. It feels kind of cringy, and it feels like you're inside of a fucking Disney movie. Like, the first thing that comes to mind is when Lady Moonberry is talking to the Winter Queen about saving Ysera. It's like, who the fuck wrote this? Like, like, how did this make it into the game? It's so fucking terrible. It's so fucking dog shit. And like, also, like, another complaint I have is whoever wrote the dialogue for Uther. Like, when I'm hearing Uther in game and I'm reading his dialogue text, like, that's not Uther. That doesn't feel like Uther. Like, I get it. Like, oh, he feels like he fucked up. He doesn't like the Arbiter or whatever, whatever, whatever. Like, okay, like, I don't care. Like that. It's like a complete 180 of like the character you would expect from Uther. It just doesn't feel like Uther. It's like Luke Skywalker in the most recent 3 Star Wars movies. It's just not Luke Skywalker. Like, Luke Skywalker is not the type of Jedi to like give up and abandon the Force. Like, because the Luke Skywalker we grew up with and knew from the first 3 movies was hopeful and could overcome anything and this and that. And it's just like a complete 180 of character, right? So I don't know. Like, it's just, it's just stupid, man. Like, that's my take. I don't know.
Crucible of Storms was really cool, and a few other things were too, like Stormsong Valley, Drustvar, and even parts of Zuldazar I really did enjoy. But whenever I compare that to the breadth of what the BFA, or sorry, what the Shadowlands zones have to offer, it's night and day. I feel like there's just so many different distinct art styles that are used in Shadowlands that it really does make the expansion feel like it's 4 completely different zones, with Shadowlands, Revendreth, and the Maw. Even I'm not a big fan of the Maw, but overall the Maw I think will improve in time as time goes on, whenever more people get the mounts, etc., and it doesn't take quite as long to do all the things there. I think the Maw is still really in beta, and so hopefully Blizzard will be able to fix that before the first patch, or at least with the first patch. But anyway, I think the art style, it's always been another meme that the art team carries Blizzard, and I think Shadowlands is...
That's very true, though.
Shadowlands is the reason why that is a rule, and Shadowlands is the reason why that is one of the...
This spot, actually, particularly in the Maw, remember in Legion when you were in Suramar and you were helping Thelyssria and the Crack Elves like build up their little sanctuary underground, right? I don't know why, but I really liked how as you progress through the Suramar quest chain, you would have more NPCs show up, and you'd have more vendors, and you would have more like cool things show up in your little like sanctuary, like your little secret base, right? It just felt cozy, and you could like visually see your progress, and you actually benefited from your progress insofar as you got more vendors and more portals and more stuff. Like, it was really cool. It was fucking badass. And I had sort of like expected the same thing from this. Like, you'd have like more vendors show up and more quest givers show up and more portals here, and like, I thought that this would be like a progressive little refuge also, but evidently that's not the case. So I feel like that's really a big miss on their part. It does. I asked around, and I guess it doesn't. Maybe it does. I really hope it does. If it doesn't, that's a huge miss on their part. But I hope it does. But I've heard from a lot of people that it doesn't. But yeah, I honestly, like, I was thinking about the Maw. I think pretty much everything I dislike about the Maw is gonna disappear once I have a mount. Like, yeah, the only problem I have with the Maw is that I just have to fucking walk everywhere, and it's annoying as fuck, and you just aggro mobs, and you get dazed and slowed, and it's just like, it's just super fucking annoying. But I think once I have a mount, I will be okay with the Maw. So I might just not even fuck with the Maw until next week. I'll clear out 8 levels of Torghast. I'll get the Maw mount from Torghast, and then I'll do the Maw. But until then, fuck that shit. Fuck the Maw, man. It's fucking terrible. Anyway, let me keep playing here.
Main things that people always say. The art is incredible. There's such distinct differences between something like Ardenfield versus Revendreth. And they're 2 distinctly beautiful zones that have a completely different theme to them. And I think that's incredibly impressive, and I think Blizzard did a great job. Whenever I talk about the class gameplay, I think that the classes do feel a lot better to play than they did in BFA. And one of the big reasons for that is it feels like a lot more of your damage is actually tied to the buttons that you press on your character, rather than random and incidental damage that comes through procs, or like your Azurite necklace, or through your trinkets, or through your Azurite armor.
Yeah, that's really true, actually.
BFA had a problem where...
That's really true.
Basically, BFA had a power creep problem similar to what Mists of Pandaria had that Blizzard felt like they had to solve. And I think that Blizzard's solution to BFA's power creep problem, because you look at like basically from...
Hey, if you guys are new here, you should make sure to follow. Any new viewers, make sure to drop a follow. Chat. Everyone smile. Everyone welcome new viewers. Real quick, everyone pause. Everyone smile and show all the new viewers how nice we are. Smile, smile, smile. Smile, smile, smile. So, you guys are so nice. Oh my god, you guys are so nice. Okay.
Mr. Pandaria,
you guys are just the nicest. Hey,
Deku.
Deku.
Felt like their character got like massively downgraded.
Yeah,
and at least I don't know. I'm a warrior. Maybe it's just me, but that's really how I felt. And I was salty about it the whole expansion. And then if you look at the power downgrade between BFA down to Shadowlands, there's probably an equal power downgrade in terms of what players were capable of doing, like their survivability, the things, you know, their damage, their burst damage, etc. But really, whenever you think about it, Shadowlands, I think, feels better than BFA in terms of playing my character. And the reason why I enjoy playing my character more in Shadowlands is that it feels whenever I hit Mortal Strike, or whenever I hit Condemn, which is one of my... I went Vent here. And whenever I hit that button and I see somebody's health go down, it's by like this much on my screen, I'm like, that was my button. That was the button that I pressed on my character, and it did that damage. And getting that feedback is so much more rewarding.
This is total preference. I get like a lot of people disagree. It's total just complete, you know, it's total just personal preference. I really dislike retail PvP because it feels like there's too many absorbs, and I just feel like I don't do any damage. And it's not that I'm not doing damage. It just, I never have that moment of like hitting hard and like feeling the chunk and like seeing the chunk and like, oh, it's like, poof, like that's some fucking damage, dude. You know what I mean? And it's like, not that I'm just like, I've played other classes than Paladin, okay? That's not it. And like, I actually, believe it or not, I actually watch a lot of Arena also. Like, you guys might not believe it, but I watch a lot of Trill, and I watch a lot of Sea-Doo, and I watch a lot of Mess. And I don't know, like, it just feels way, it just doesn't feel or look as satisfying. Like, I don't know what it is. And you know, classic PvP has its own problems. I would say a lot of problems. But the one thing I can say about it, and this is also true for TBC PvP, which is obviously a step up from classic PvP, is that like when you do damage, it just, for whatever reason, it just feels more satisfying. Like you can feel it, you can see it, you can it just feels better. Like, I don't know, it's like, it's very hard to put into words, but I think it has to do with the amount of self heals and absorbs that like every class has. I don't know. Like, I think that's probably it.
Rewarding on a second to second level than just kind of waiting and basically
instant
BFA,
cast heals as well. Yeah, like probably.
You're just going to throw your dice at somebody.
Maybe it's just too fast paced for me. I don't know.
You've got the corruption proc, you've got the Azerite proc, you've got the trinket proc, you've got the Azerite armor proc, you've got the necklace proc, and you've got the cloak proc, and it's like, you know, how many of these are going to roll a 20 and how many aren't? And really, playing that kind of a game, it's just so disconnected, and it's so removed from the very clean and, like, I think, rewarding feel that something like Classic WoW has. I think whenever you play a warrior in a BG in Classic WoW, if you're not getting, you know, fighting 1v1 against a Frost Mage, and you're actually doing a team fight, and you've got healers, and you're playing your character, it feels fucking amazing. And
there you go. There you have it, man. There it is, man.
Why does it feel amazing? Because you get that visual feedback of what you're doing. You really see the impact of your character.
Dude, this is what I'm saying. We're saying the same thing. I agree. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
And I think that's one of the kind of types of, I would say, subtle genius of Classic that Shadowlands really did, I think, do a relatively good job in capturing. I don't really think that you can ever have, you can never step in the same river twice.
Kathy tripped the fire alarm. 1 second. Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. Yeah. Yeah, Kathy's out there trying to make bread. She mixed up some dough and she has it in the oven and she's like, "Oh, there's no smoke. Why is it? Well, I don't know why." And I go out there and I smell smoke and it's like, okay, Kathy, what the god fucking damn it.
You can never really reclaim what Classic had. I don't think that Shadowlands really is attempting to do that, but I think that it's attempting to take the essence of what Classic really gave people in that way and give it back to them again. And I think with the feel of classes and the feel of gameplay, especially in PvP, I really enjoy doing it on just a fun level. For example, I've done now more RBGs in, I think at this point I've done more RBGs in Shadowlands than I did in all of BFA. Think about that. And I look forward to doing more. It's awesome. So on top of that,
when were RBGs the best? Like, what expansion had the best RBGs? Because I quit Cataclysm after like 3 months, and I never really got into RBGs. Cataclysm had the best, not Mop, Cata. Okay, it's like half you say Mop and half you say Cata. Okay, yeah, actually, that's like I would say probably one of my biggest WoW regrets is quitting Cata so early. I wish I had played through Cata at least until Dragonsoul came out. When Dragonsoul came out, it was like objectively dog shit, right? But I wish I kept playing and kept doing Arena, and then also got into RBGs. Though if I kept playing RBGs, I probably would have gotten doxxed and had a bomb sent to my house, because it sounds like the Cata RBG community was pretty fucking toxic. And also, I was like 17, so I would have been toxic also, so that just would have been bad. You know, in hindsight, it's probably best I didn't get into RBGs, because that just would have been fucking bad.
Let's talk about a little bit more of the other things. Let's talk about Mythic Plus. I haven't really done a whole lot of Mythic Plus, and by a whole lot, I mean any. I feel like the dungeons are really fun. Mythic Plus has never been something that's really compelled me or really interested me, but I think the seasonal affix does seem really interesting, and I'm really curious to see
why I don't have my
what
table,
that's actually going to be like in terms of just everyday play. But overall, what I've heard from people is that they've been enjoying it a lot, and so it seems like the dungeons to me in Shadowlands do seem better, and it doesn't seem like a lot of the mob packs are overloaded with abilities like they felt like in BFA, where every single trash pack was stressful because you had to worry about like 8 different things that could happen. And in BFA, it's a little bit more Shadowlands, it's a little bit more relaxed, and I actually prefer that.
I have yet to do any Mythic Plus because I rerolled, right? Like, this is the week I would have started doing Mythic Plus, but I had to reroll my Paladin. So starting next week, the plan is to just, like, all I want to do is do Mythic Plus with viewers. I'll be tanking. Kathy will heal, assuming she doesn't burn the house down and kill us all. We'll do Mythic Plus with you guys, and we're just going to boost keys. You guys bring the keys, we bring the boost. We're going to boost. So I think we're going to end up doing probably a lot of Mythic Plus starting on Tuesday in the evenings. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's pretty fun. Yeah, I'm excited. Like, I actually did a lot of Mythic Plus when BFA came out. I did a lot, and I tanked them. Like, I'm actually, I don't know, like, I really like tanking Mythic Plus. I did it a lot. I'm gonna say it again. Listen, dude, okay? This is the highlight of my WoW career. For a month and a half, when BFA came out, I was the #1 rated Mythic Plus Prot Paladin on Kel'Thuzad, okay? I was the best Prot Paladin on Kel'Thuzad, which is quite an achievement, okay? You have to respect it, so I don't know. It's just fun. Like, I actually like doing it. It does get kind of old. I actually, like, maybe it doesn't. Maybe just BFA got old. I think Mythic Plus was fine. It's just that everything outside of Mythic Plus was fucking dog shit at BFA. That's just what it was. BFA was bad.
And I also think the seasonal affix, the prideful affix, is really interesting and cool.
That's all
because
it was.
It actually gives players a bonus to their damage on top of being a little bit of a detriment as well. And I think that adds.
I need to go to Rapid Draft, man.
I think over the course of BFA, Blizzard got a lot smarter with the affixes, and I think their final draft with that, which was Awakened, which was the 8.3 affix, was incredibly genius. Like, that was a master-crafted affix. Not only did it, undercut the rogue meta, but it just completely changed the way people did dungeons. And I think, honestly, whoever designed that affix, I want that person designing more things in the game. Whoever did that's a genius. But overall, I think that the new Shadowlands affix is really interesting too, and I look forward to doing it. I just haven't really had time to do it.
My big problem with Mythic Plus is maybe I'm just not like that competitive. I don't know, but I have zero desire. Do you guys agree with this? I have zero desire to ever do a Mythic key higher than the one I have to do to get the best loot out of my weekly cash. I just don't give a fuck about doing anything beyond that. I just don't get anything for it. I don't get fuck all for it, so why would I do it? Like, I guess some people want to push their Raider IO and, and go to the fucking MDI, and yeah, it's a 14. At this point, you have to do a 14 in order to get your, I think it's 226 eye level gear or something. Yeah, like, beyond that, I couldn't give a fuck. Like, oh man, I pushed a Mythic 19, like, okay, what'd you get for it? Oh, I didn't get anything for it, but oh, like, okay, I don't care then. Like, I just play the game to get shit, and if I'm not getting shit, I'm not playing it. That's all it really comes down to.
Do it because I've been doing other things. So PvP seems really great. I've talked to a lot of people about PvP, and I think all of the, the usual suspects that play PvP all pretty much agree that they really enjoy playing it in Shadowlands much more than they did in BFA.
Oh, for the achievement, yeah.
I think that's awesome to hear from me personally, because a lot of you guys might not really know.
I mean, wait a minute. Wait, how do I check? Did I get the 15 achievement in early BFA? I think I must have, right? Where's Mythic Plus? Dungeons and Raids? Battle Dungeon. Let me see. Complete the following using Mythic Keystone. Where would that be? I don't know. I thought there was an achievement for it. It might be a feat of strength. It might be a feat of strength. I don't fucking know. Keystone Master? Wait, is that it? Battle for Azeroth Keystone Master. Is that the one? No, I thought there was an achievement for pushing a 15 specifically. 1550. Maybe I'm just blind. I don't know what it's called. I'm blind and stupid, so I don't fucking know. Let me just check real quick again. Maybe I just don't have it. Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna keep playing this.
I
don't even know what I'm looking for.
Because I never had time to raid because my parents were divorced, so I couldn't raid on certain weekdays because I'd be over at my dad's. So I'd have to PvP to get my gear instead. So I started off that way to see other people. To recap.
I had a similar situation. When I played WoW at my mom's house, I was on a super dog shit, fucking terrible Dell computer where I got at most 15 FPS. Typically, it was like it was a Dell laptop. Typically 7 FPS, and I got screen tearing because I had an integrated graphics card. And if I honestly if I went too if my character went too fast, like if I was on a flight path, my screen would tear, and I'd have graphics card tearing. So when I was on flight paths, I had to point my camera at the ground because if I looked up at the sky or looked around me, I would have screen tearing and my computer would overheat. So I would, on a flight path, I would sit like this. And I remember doing Kael'thas progression in Tempest Keep back in Burning Crusade. It's like phase 3 or phase 4 of Kael'thas when he powers up and the ceiling above him shatters and he flies up in the air. I would have to go like this and look right at the ground, because if I looked up in the sky when the ceiling shattered, my game would just explode. Like my computer would literally just fucking explode when that happened. So I would just have to sit there like this and do my shit like this for like 2 or 3 minutes doing that. And then I'd go to my dad's house, and he had also a shitty computer, but it was a desktop, so it had a little bit more power in it than the laptop. And like I would always like be super excited to go to my dad's house for the weekend, because I would get like 25 FPS rather than like 7 or 8 FPS, which was fucking badass. Like that was sick as fuck. I guess like a weird critique of the Venthyr.
So zones are
that I was thinking about.
Raid. Castle Nathra.
And I understand this is like a weird critique, but I actually very strongly feel this way.
I'm a big Castlevania.
None of them are hot. Like none of the women are hot.
I watched the Netflix series. I loved it.
That might be fucked up to say, but I think they're missing out on. I actually never played not having hot as fuck vampire women.
Aesthetic. It's
like where are the hot as fuck vampire girls? Like they definitely should have hot fucking vampire girls, and they don't have any. They just have vampire women that like. I'm gonna be honest. When I look at a Venthyr woman, they look exactly like my grandma. My grandma is like 6'2". She's taller than me. She's like 6'2". I guess like a weird short kind of curly hair. She has that long kind of noodly physique. And that I was thinking about. She has like a very strong, stern, I understand this is like a weird facial feature, but I actually very strongly feel this way. I just see my grandma. None of them are hot. When I look at a female Venthyr, and I want to see like that might be fucked up, like a hot as fuck vampire. I think they're missing out on, and I just see my grandma, and that's not what I want. So I wish they would make the female Venthyrs hotter. And that's why my only critique of Shadowlands at the moment. Girls.
I think in a way
they definitely should have hot fucking vampire girls, and they don't have any. They just have vampire women.
I think the raid.
I'm gonna be honest. When I look at a Venthyr woman,
normal mode,
they look exactly like my grandma. My grandma is like 6'2". She's taller than me. She's like 6'2". She has short, kind of curly hair. She has that long, kind of noodly
usually I really enjoy the raid. I remember
she has like a very strong,
incredible raid, and a lot of people disagreed with me. And the reason for that is because they were the ones doing Mythic, and I was just doing Heroic and having a good time. So for me, it was awesome, but if you're doing Mythic, it fucking sucks. And the funny thing is, it's the opposite now, is that normal, for a lot of people sucked, but I went and I did Heroic, and I had 1,000 times more fun. I felt like I was getting more rewarded for my time investment. I think in a way, he's more level of gameplay that I'm putting into it.
Heroic seems
But,
fucking
you know,
brutal,
200
dude.
gear after wiping for 2 hours with like 3 separate one-shot mechanics on normal mode. I'm like, yeah, fuck this. But heroic, it sounds great. I'm happy. This is awesome. So it's kind of funny the way that Blizzard did that, and obviously I think it's unintended because they nerfed a lot of this stuff. But it's weird that it could motivate somebody like me to just want to do a harder difficulty because it just felt more rewarding. And it's weird because...
And I hold his bis. I don't know. I'm trying to think about this. Like, he mentions one-shot mechanics. Do you prefer one-shot mechanics where, like, straight up you just fucking die if you do it wrong? Or do you prefer mechanics that just, like, if you do them wrong, it sets you back a lot, but it's not necessarily an immediate wipe? I honestly, I guess I prefer mechanics that set you back a lot and have a really strong potential to, like, wipe the raid, but that are potentially recoverable from. I don't know. I guess it's like a middle ground between the two, right? But generally, I think like one-shot mechanics are not the way to go with most things.
Of course, Shadowlands took a completely different paradigm with how they want to give out gear, and what gear acquisition really means in Shadowlands. And because of that, I think that we've seen a lot of people really enjoying the level of gear that you get, and also the permanence of that gear. For example, I got Skulker's Wing from the first boss in Heroic Castle Nathria, and I have that until I get the Mythic version. And that's really cool to just have that there, and I look at that item, and that is the item. There's not a... I can put a socket on it myself. I don't know if you can do it on trinkets. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I can, maybe put a socket on it if it's a certain piece of gear. But other than that, it is what it is. And that is great.
Jesus fucking Christ, she's out there trying to make bread. Like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. She like, I walk out there and she's trying to like, she literally, I'm just gonna mute this for a second. She literally ripped the fire alarm off of the ceiling. She was trying to turn it off. She ripped it off of the ceiling. And now it's beeping every 5 seconds. Like faintly, because if it's not plugged in, it just beeps because it needs to be plugged in. Like, and she's like, oh, there's no smoke, and I walk out there and it smells like smoke. She's trying to cook fucking bread right now. Oh my god, dude. She just had to make bread tonight. She's like, she's on a bread kick. She spent $50 on a fucking mixer machine so she can mix dough to make bread. Yeah, it's beeping still. You hear that? And she, oh, dude, Jesus Christ. Like hold on, I gotta go out there again. The thing has to be plugged in, otherwise it's just gonna beep every 60 seconds. Give me a second here, dude. Oh god. Oh boy. Okay, I think she plugged it back in. I think it's plugged back in. Oh god, fucking damn it. I just don't want to hear the fucking fire alarm anymore. They're gonna call the fucking apartment people on us, man. The neighbors are probably flipping the fuck out too.
And I can just sit there and relax. And after I reach an apex on my warrior, and I have all the gear that I want, and maybe I'm done farming all the mounts that I want, which seems at this point probably not going to happen. But other than that, I can go play my other characters. I can go do something else in the game. And I think Blizzard having the confidence to not try to attach players into these mandatory fun mechanisms like BFA had shows how confident they were in this expansion. And the ironic thing about that was I think that that's also echoed in the Covenant system. Now, I was never a fan of the way that the Covenant system was going to be released, and I'm still not. I'd like to be able to use different abilities. It's not even a 1% argument. I just want to be able to use the Kyrian Spear sometimes. I got killed by a warrior in Arena, and he used the Ardenweald warrior ability. And I'm like, wow, that's badass. I want to try that out and see what it's like.
Yeah, I would say, like, the concern over the Covenant thing, it's not as big of a deal as people made it out to be, definitely. But it still is a big deal. Like, it still is a stupid problem that, like, should be fixed. it's not a huge deal, but it is a deal, and it's also it's unnecessarily a deal. It's stupid that it even is a deal at all, right? Like just don't fucking restrict people's abilities to whatever covenant. Just let people use whatever they want, or like re-covenant, respec whenever they want, re-covenant whenever they want, and everything will be fine. It'll all be good.
And I'd like to be able
Yeah,
to try out
perfect.
these abilities without having to, you know, lose something for it and have to spend a large time like reinvesting back into Venthyr or whatever. But
It'd be perfect.
overall, the Covenant abilities aren't nearly as impactful.
You can
as
recov,
they
yeah,
were
on
in
a
the beta.
cooldown though. You
And
can't do whenever,
because of that,
not whenever you want.
The features of Covenants that people were really worried about were very much toned down. And it's the same thing with the conduits as well, soul conduits, or sorry, soul binds, and conduits to a lesser extent. They were toned down quite a bit, and I think because of that toning down, players are a little bit more okay with them being a little bit of a player power upgrade, because they don't really seem influential enough for most people to really care about them, and for them to seem to be as defining as players thought they would be. I think also, like,
Oh yeah, my
this
aura,
is
my
going
bad.
to be something that
Yeah, I
will become
died.
less
I
and
took
less
it
of
off.
the case, because as people learn more about the game and as people theorycraft more about the game, you will see further and further differentiation between like mid-level players and high-level players, because there's just so many things that you can optimize in Shadowlands. And then whenever obviously they reach that point, there will become more of an expectation to further optimize your character, which of course there's you know, it's a double-edged sword. You know, having these cool things that you can optimize also means that, you know, WoW as a game, and I've said this before, WoW as a game probably has one of the strongest meta adherence cultures possible, and it's not really Blizzard's
That is
fault, it's
very
not the
fucking
players'
true.
fault, it's just the way the game is. Because really, WoW is a difficult game whenever you're doing, you know, a mythic raid or a high-level mythic plus.
Well, I mean, that being the case, that's not going to change. Like, that's human nature. That's the nature of MMO players. So, as a game designer, what you can do is just lessen the difference between what's good and what's bad, I guess, or at least give people more options with how they can change, like how often they can change what they're playing. So, for example, the Covenant thing, like, don't restrict people to having one covenant per week or whatever it is. Like, yeah, you can re-covenant, but it's like not as much as you should be able to. Like, what if on Tuesday I want to play Ret Paladin, and on Wednesday I want to play Holy Paladin, and then on Thursday I want to raid as Prot Paladin. Like, you can't, and let's say like hypothetically each covenant, like every spec I would want a different covenant for, right? Maybe one is bis for Ret, one's bis for Holy, and one's bis for Prot. That's not the case. Incidentally, it's all Kyrian, but you know that you understand the point, right? um, you can't really do that, which is just like unnecessarily stupid, right?
or high level arena, and this is a hard game. So, you know, if you're playing a game like Witcher 3 and you're not playing on Death March or, you know, something like that, or even if you are, I mean, the game's not extremely challenging unless my understanding
Unnecessarily
is until you get
restrictive.
to the DLC. But a game like Dark Souls does have a lot more meta adherence than a game like Witcher 3 or a more story driven game that doesn't really focus a lot on difficulty. But the harder a game is, the more you're going to be influenced into picking a meta, because that's the more the meta will actually matter in terms of making the difference between you succeeding or not.
Just level 3 paladins. Well, that's literally what top players have done, right? Like, I know you might be kidding, but that's what top players are doing, right? They're leveling multiple of the same class, so they can have one for each covenant, which is obviously not good. It's not good. It's so weird because like they got rid of the original talent trees in MoP and replaced them with like this version of talent tree, because you know supposedly the original talent trees were too restrictive, and you know they wanted people to have more options, be able to change their talents and more, and you know play more things in different scenarios. So they make the talent trees less restrictive, and then they add just like equally as, if not more so, restrictive things, or like I guess like progression paths in the game, such as covenants, and just like completely counters. It's they're just like all over the place with their design philosophy, I think, in some situations.
And I think WoW has that problem, and then that problem is also compounded with the social expectation. And a lot of these other games are single player games. So if you play the game and you suck or you're doing a little bit slower, then who
There
cares?
he
But
is.
whenever you're in WoW, you actually have to give other people that voluntarily want to play with you. And who would want to play with somebody who's handicapping themselves and holding back the entire team? And so you have the social pressure aspect and also the difficulty aspect, which makes WoW a very, very meta-heavy game, meta-driven game. And I don't think Blizzard can ever really stop that. I think that the best thing that Blizzard can do is just keep changing the meta regularly without necessarily causing resentment to players who have picked the previous meta, and just keeping things fresh and keeping them new. And as long as Blizzard does that, I feel like people will appreciate being able to swap around and do different things. And I think also the ease of access of being able to play different characters actually really works in that favor. Because I remember whenever, I think this is patch 4.3, and this is back in Cataclysm, whenever they removed the cooldown on Chain Lightning, and every single person in Stormwind on the PTR for the 4.3 PTR was just sitting in Stormwind on like a Draenei Paladin spamming Chain Lightning at the target. That means like they're Darth Sidious. And I remember thinking to myself, fuck, it's time to level Barbecue Beard. That's my shaman. And I did, and it was so fun to play my shaman then. I used to love it. And it was the same in Cataclysm. Yeah, that wasn't Cataclysm, right? And I think it might have been later, somewhere around in that time period. And it was so fun. So giving...
Classic is restrictive as well. I mean, I don't think classic talent trees are as restrictive as covenants. You can respec as much as you want. You just have to farm gold. And I actually don't know the number. How or the time frame. How frequently can you change covenants? I thought it was like a week or a couple days at least. If I'm carrying right now, I can go to some. It's 2 weeks. It's some like arbitrary. It's 2 weeks. Is it really 2 weeks to go back? I didn't think it was that long. Like, and a super hard quest, which is just like an arbitrary number they pulled out of nowhere, right? So it's just like completely unnecessarily and arbitrarily restrictive to your gameplay. So if you're saying you prefer that as opposed to paying 50 gold to respec in Classic WoW, like at this point in Classic, you can farm 100 gold an hour. Like every class can easily farm 100 gold per hour. So it's like if you want to respec, it's 30 minutes of your time to pay for the respec as opposed to 2 weeks. So yeah, like, yeah, Classic is restrictive in that you have to pay for respecs, but when you're comparing like the level of restrictiveness, Classic is much more open in that at least in that aspect, I guess. Wait, how you farm that much gold? Dude, everyone can farm like 100 gold at this point, man. Just YouTube it. Just YouTube it. Yeah, I don't know, like I said, I don't think the Covenant deal is like a crazy giant deal. It still is a deal though. It's just like it's an unnecessarily large deal. I want to say again though. I think Classic Lands. I think Shadowlands is really pretty good. Like I would give Shadowlands probably like a 7.5 out of 10. I'm really enjoying Shadowlands.
People that
you know what? Wait, I want to do a Mythic Plus with Kathy in a minute. I'm gonna go give her like a 5-minute warning. Give me 1 second. Hold it. Kathy. It's garlic rosemary bread. Guys, Kathy, wait, can I bring the entire loaf in and show them? Do you have a loaf? Yeah. Can I bring it in? Yeah, it's still hot. Everyone wants to see the bread. Was it worth all the drama? Let's find out. Where's my camera all fucked up? Okay. All right. This is a little piece. It's garlic. I mean, it looks like she didn't burn it. She's bringing in the loaf. Bring in the loaf.
One exploded a little bit.
One exploded? All right, here, let me see it. Oh, wow. So, wait, you made the dough from scratch?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's really hot. It smells really good. How'd you make the dough?
Well, I just made it.
You just made it, forehead.
But that's what I mean. Like, it's not burned or anything. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, which is why it's really weird that the thingy went off.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, wait, I don't know how to... I didn't know you could just make bread. How do you make bread?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. You can just make bread.
Well, I'm asking how. Tell me how you made the bread.
You just use the ingredients. You let it rest for a little bit. It goes up.
What are the ingredients?
Yeast, flour, salt, water. Some doughs have some butter. I'm not really supposed to just do that, but okay.
That's really good.
You like it?
That's really fucking good.
I make good bread.
This would be so good with butter on it too.
Yeah, I know. I have some cheese on mine.
There's little like chunks of garlic in there. Holy shit, this is really fucking good.
You like it?
Like really fucking good.
I can make it more often if you want. I might get like a dough form, like a
Well,
form, so it goes up and we can actually put stuff stuff on it, because otherwise it doesn't hold its shape.
You probably have to buy like a $5,000 convection fan to not, you know, set the alarm off.
I don't know why
But,
it would set the alarm off. It's really weird.
I don't know, just open all the windows, I guess, next time, maybe in like the patio door.
Yeah, maybe
Oh, well. Dude, that's really fucking... Alright, well, Cassie, in 5 minutes, you want to do Mythic? 5 minutes? Okay. Ooh, I got the dog in here, too. Where's your toy? Where's your toy? Oh. This is Peepa. This is Laika's favorite toy. Are you ready? Are you ready? Good girl. Nice one. Everyone clap. Good job. Poggers. Nice one. Alright. I forgot. I'm inside of Torghast. Are you you're just gonna squeak the toy? Alright, she's just gonna squeak the toy, right? That is how it is. Let me play this.
Option to just go and play another character.
Thank you guys,
without
thank you.
having all these other barriers to entry that are artificially created, like you know, Azerite, like your corruptions, like your you know, necklace, like, you know, all of these things, and just being able to play the game. Gear is gear, damage is damage, the game is the game, and fun is fun. I think that's really what Shadowlands has to offer, and I think they've done a great job on it. So for a lot of you guys that you know, you haven't really been playing the game a whole lot, I'd say that, you know,
there's nothing worse than dealing with someone's creativity who has bad ideas. Who here has been on a team project in school or at work where you have to work with someone who has like all these ideas and all of them are fucking terrible? Like, holy shit. That is corruption. That's Azerite power. That's artifact power. That's like, there's so many examples. Like, fuck, dude. Holy shit. Like, okay, you're creative. Yeah, you are. But is it a good idea? No.
How do you rate a game? How do you say a game is worth its money? Is it 40 hours of gameplay? I think that's usually the benchmark a lot of people use. I've gotten way more than that out of Shadowlands.
They tried.
I've had a lot of fun. Would I recommend the game? I'd say so. Yeah, I think it's actually a good expansion. It missed a few things that I'm not really a big fan of. As I said, Covenant restrictions, Conduit restrictions, kind of annoying. And then also on top of that, not really a big fan of...
what about set bonuses?
Guild raid.
Dude, if it was up to me, and I understand this is like probably incredibly hard to balance and hard to design around, I love set bonuses. I wish that every raid tier had 3 different tier sets for every class, for every spec, and that you could have 2 pieces of this tier set for a set bonus and 3 pieces of that tier set, and you could have 4 pieces of this tier set. I wish that every single piece that dropped was part of a different set.
Dad.
Hi, Dad. Hi, son. I know, seriously. I wish that every piece of gear was part of a tier set, and you could mix and match them, almost in like a... You know a game that did tier sets really fucking badass? It was Diablo 2. Like Diablo 2, dude, also runes, rune words. Imagine World of Warcraft with rune words. And you could put the runes in your gem sockets and oh dude, that would be so fucking that shit is impossible to balance around though. Like there's no fucking way you can balance around that shit, man. I'm telling you, like that shit's impossible. But like Diablo, man, I'm just like Diablo 2 is badass. Diablo 2 is fucking badass, man.
Especially for Mythic, but
badass.
overall, I think it's definitely...
Fatty, I appreciate it, man.
Right
Thank you,
direction.
dude. Thank you, man.
I think that it's a lot of steps in the right direction.
Wait, aren't they gonna have runes in Diablo 4? I played the beta at BlizzCon of Diablo 4. Like I actually played Diablo 4 for like 45 minutes, and I think I remember there being runes. Yeah, I think there's runes in Diablo 4. They're probably not gonna work in the same way they did in Diablo 2 because, like I said, like having as many rune words as they had in Diablo 2, like that shit is like literally impossible to balance. It's just too many fucking things. But I don't know, like, man, it's fucking cool. But anyway, set bonuses. Take away the fuck the rune words. Set bonuses are cool. I love set bonuses. Like being a warlock in like phase 4, I'm wearing like 3 or 4 different sets. Like you might have your ZG rings. You might have 2-piece rank 10 gear. You're maybe wearing 3-piece Bloodvine. Like you're maybe wearing like, you know, 3-piece tier 2. It's just cool. Like and you have to like mix and match them the way that's like perfect and think about it. And it's like, oh, if I trade out this piece, I lose that set bonus, but I might gain this set bonus. And it's just badass. It's just fucking badass. I love them. So I heard they're adding them back for Shadowlands. So I'm really excited about that. I fucking love them, dude. It's badass.
And I've said this
TBC,
before,
I had that
WoW
too. Yep, you're right.
To really kind of change things up. and really kind of flip the script on the game to make it feel new.
Yep.
Because everybody's just constantly, you know, okay, new WoW expansion, 10 more levels,
Next tier.
3
I'm
more
excited,
raids, you know, 10 more dungeons. Wow, what else is new? And you have a certain level of boredom that kind of manifests with that. And I think Shadowlands did a very good job trying to break the mold of that as much as they realistically could. And hopefully Blizzard continues taking more chances like they did with Shadowlands. And the fact is, sometimes whenever you take a long shot, it's like in Call of Duty, right? It's like if you see somebody that's really, really far out, and like you'll see any I do this all the time, like whenever I'm streaming Call of Duty, and like you'll see any other Call of Duty streamer do this. There'll be some guy that's like a fucking 10 miles out in the field, and you will try to pop this dude off with a sniper, and there's like a 90% chance
I hit him
you're
every
gonna
time.
miss. But if you hit that motherfucker, that is a clip, and everybody is spamming, you know, for me, Bald Shroud, or, you know, whatever they want to call it, you know,
I just
these
died.
are...
I wasn't even paying
And
attention.
so,
Wow, my bad.
if you hit that long shot, if you hit the long shot,
I wasn't even paying
everybody
attention.
appreciates it, and everybody respects it. And I think that's the way a lot of people are looking at with Shadowlands, and it's really great to see. So anyway, guys, good expansion. And before I finish the video, I do want to say, obviously, most people really enjoy an expansion on release, and then they start to hate it as time goes on.
That is true.
I really hope that's not what happens with Shadowlands, and I can say that this, compared to my experience with BFA at the same time period, I'm enjoying Shadowlands a whole lot more, and I'm looking forward to...
I agree, though. I gotta say, for 6 weeks, I enjoyed the fuck out of BFA. And BFA was dog shit. Like, BFA was terrible. But for the first 6 weeks, when there's progress to be made, it was fun as fuck. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I liked BFA a lot for the first couple weeks, and then, like, you realize, oh man, like, holy fuck, what the fuck is this? But yeah, Shadowlands is definitely more fun. TBC talk, let me finish, let me hear his closing thoughts, but we're gonna do probably a Mythic 0 or 2 after my Torghast. I'm gonna call Kathy, I'm gonna finish Torghast here, we'll do a Mythic 0, probably maybe 2 of them. And then we will have the 2-hour-long TBC talk. We're gonna watch Mad Season's new video talking about TBC. It's gonna be a big talk. Classic TBC is the discussion.
playing a lot more characters and experiencing a lot more of the game.
Fuck.
So I'm excited about playing it, and I'm probably going to go do that right now. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Really appreciate it. And it's great to actually talk about the game and be a little bit more positive and enthusiastic about it as well. So thank you guys all so much for watching. I really fucking appreciate it. And as I said, I've got the new phone now, and I've got the new camera, and hopefully this mic isn't fucked up, because if it was, that means I just wasted 25 minutes of talking. So anyway, guys, thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, peace.
Until next time, stay safe.